New champions here, new champions there, new champions everywhere. WWE desperately tries to sabotage AEW. It's all here on the Wrestling is Bullshit Report, episode number 23. Welcome back, guys. We got a lot to get into, a lot of new champs. Let's get right into it with the results. We also got quite a bit of news, but we'll get there when we get there. Our first bit of results: IYO SKY winning the Women's World Championship on Monday Night Raw, defeating Rhea Ripley just ahead of WrestleMania, just after the Elimination Chamber. It was all but set for Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair to have a match at WrestleMania, which is a dream match, some would say. These superstars have been rising somewhere along the same time. They came up to the main roster, I believe, in the same year, just about, and they've been doing fantastic. They've been top attractions for the WWE women's division, and we were set to have them face off at Mania for the women's world title. No, IYO SKY defeats Rhea Ripley in a surprising fashion, and it just goes ahead and puts a monkey wrench in the plans for WrestleMania in a good way, in a way that isn't so predictable, in a fun way. It's awesome. I'm here for it, man. Are we getting a triple threat at Mania? What's going to happen? We know that at the very least, IYO SKY will be taking on Bianca Belair, but there is a possibility where Rhea Ripley inserts herself and makes it a triple threat. We will find out what happens. That is the first bit of results. The very next night on NXT, we had Shawn Spears defeat Tony D'Angelo for the North American Championship. Shawn Spears is a fantastic veteran of the business, and I think he's going to do a lot of good things with this North American Championship. I think he's going to facilitate a lot of good showing from the younger side of the current NXT roster. So I think it's really good that Shawn Spears won this title. Unfortunately, I don't think Tony D'Angelo was doing too much with the North American Championship. He's had it for a minute now, and it's unfortunate, man. I want to see this guy do well, but honestly, I can't say that was an amazing North American Championship reign. We'll see what Shawn Spears does with it. Next, on Friday Night SmackDown, LA Knight defeats Shinsuke Nakamura to regain the United States Championship. Titles are moving everywhere, man. This is crazy. LA Knight is now the U.S. title, the U.S. champion, for the second time in his career. And it'll be interesting to see what they have for him at WrestleMania, right? I definitely thought they were going to hold off on the LA and Shinsuke match until WrestleMania. Nonetheless, man, they go ahead and have the match on SmackDown, have LA Knight get the title back in his hands. So we'll see who awaits LA Knight at Mania. I'm sure it'll be quite interesting, man. I'm thinking Jacob Fatu. I'm thinking Solo Sikoa. I think either of those guys could put on a good match and even possibly defeat LA Knight for the U.S. title. Nonetheless, man, we also had a fourth title change this week, which came at AEW Revolution out of Los Angeles, California, as Kenny Omega defeated Konosuke Takeshita for the International Championship. And it looks like Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada are both champions and are on a collision course for All In Dallas this July. It looks like they will be unifying the International and Continental Championship, perhaps calling it the Intercontinental Championship, the AEW Intercontinental Championship. That is all but confirmed. What is confirmed, what is set in stone, is the fact that Kenny Omega is your new international champion. We also had fantastic matches like Toni Storm versus Mariah May in the Hollywood ending, which should have main evented the show, which was one of the best women's matches I've seen in years. Seriously, guys, amazing stuff. The stuff that WWE's been doing can't even hold a candle to the match that AEW put on, to the story that AEW put on, to the feud that AEW put on between Mariah May and Timeless Toni Storm. Excellent stuff. Seriously, excellent stuff. World-class women's wrestling right there. Good job, AEW. Seems like just yesterday that women's division was super lackluster. They went ahead and told a story that is generational. Truly, that Mariah May and Toni Storm story, match, and program was freaking fantastic, man. Last but not least, we also had Will Ospreay finish his story with Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match, which was super awesome, man. LA was a lucky crowd to host AEW Revolution. out of the Crypto Arena, formerly known as the Staples Center, aka WWE's favorite place to hold wrestling events. It's a huge deal that AEW was able to run a show at Crypto, formerly known as Staples Center, and they did well. I think every single match except for the main event was absolutely incredible. Nothing short of incredible, to be honest with you. AEW started the year off right in LA with their first pay-per-view. Speaking of LA, it got me thinking, man, when's the last time WWE had a premium live event in Los Angeles? WrestleMania 39. Coming up on 2 years since WWE has been in LA. Why? LA thirsts for good wrestling. LA used to host SummerSlam damn near every year for 5 or 6 years. I want to see that again, man. I want to see WWE making it a point to have a premium live event in Los Angeles at least once a year. I think it writes itself if you go ahead and sign a 5-year deal or so and host SummerSlam every single year in LA. They should be doing that. I'm from SoCal. I'm from LA. So, of course, I'm being biased right now. But LA is an amazing city, man. I need to see more wrestling there, mainly because, I love visiting whenever there's a premium live event or pay-per-view for WWE or AEW. I'm inclined to go visit the fan. I'm inclined to take a trip back home. Nonetheless, man, I think they should get back to the way they were doing things back in the day, hosting every single SummerSlam in Los Angeles. You can do it now at SoFi Stadium. If not SoFi Stadium, then the new Clippers Arena. What's that arena called? I can't remember what it's called. I haven't personally been yet. But LA has the facilities to host a SummerSlam every year, and the demand is there for it. LA should be doing that. LA should be having SummerSlam every year, in my opinion. It's that simple. I know what you East Coast boys are thinking too. What about New York? In New York on Millie Rock? Okay. For New York, because they have the Garden, I think it would be cool if every single Saturday night's main event was held at the Garden. That would make Saturday night's main event feel super special, super profound, and I think the demand is there for every Saturday night's main event to be held in Madison Square Garden. And that's what you get out of WWE in New York. That's what you get out of WWE in LA yearly. They visit New York 4 times, go ahead and do the Garden for Saturday night's main event, and then they visit LA for SummerSlam once a year. I think they should go that route. I think that's smart, right? It's cool to have WrestleMania move to a different location every year. It's cool to have the Royal Rumble do that. It's cool to have Survivor Series do that. But I think for SummerSlam, you have that in LA every year. And then for Saturday night's main event, you do that 4 times a year, and you have that in the Garden every single time. I think they have the facilities and the demand to do that in both locations, and it would make crazy money. I kind of got on a tangent there, a weird tangent about WWE and their schedule in New York and LA. Let's get into the news, man. Let's go ahead and move on and keep this thing rolling here. Rey Fenix is finally a free agent. It looks like Tony Khan took him off the payroll, and he's finally ready to set up his WWE debut. Penta has been fantastic over in WWE as of recently making his debut, and now his brother Rey Fenix should be joining him shortly. Fantastic stuff here. We also have this other bit of interesting news, guys, as TKO is looking to start a new boxing organization. TKO is the umbrella company for WWE and UFC. They got MMA, mixed martial arts. They got pro wrestling and WWE. And now they're looking to get into boxing. And I think this is a fantastic idea, man. I was actually clamoring for TKO to purchase the Premier Boxing League years ago, or what is it? PBC, Premier Boxing Champions is what it is. Sorry. Premier Boxing Champions. I was hoping that TKO would get their hand on the PBC because I think boxing in the revival of good boxing, not whatever the heck is happening with Mike Tyson and Logan Paul and all the Anywho, I think TKO can facilitate and has the money to revive boxing at a high level. And I'm excited to see and hear that they want to get into the boxing business. I think they should. I think it's a shame that boxing has become quite tertiary when it comes to combat sports. I mean, wrestling is way more popular than boxing these days. It's insane. I remember watching Manny Pacquiao back in the day. I remember watching Floyd Mayweather back in the day. All these guys, Canelo when he was younger. It's just sad to see the state of boxing right now. And you look at the success that TKO is having with WWE, you look at the success that TKO is having at UFC. And honestly, when I see these things, I can't think of a better company to try and enter the boxing business and make an impact at scale. So I'm super excited, man, to see if TKO is able to make a splash with a new boxing promotion. We'll see what happens. WWE also began their Evolve show. It's a new show. It's called WWE Evolve, and it's clearly the stepping stone for the Performance Center trainees to NXT. It's the middle ground. This is where you're going to see wrestlers, especially independent wrestlers who come through the WWE ID program, get some reps in under the WWE banner. They're going to get some reps in on Evolve, and when they're ready, make their way up to NXT. I don't really plan to watch too much of this show, to be honest with you. I think it's great giving independent wrestlers who have the WWE ID a platform to show us what they can do. I think it's really cool. I personally have my hand in too many different wrestling promotions to really have any time to watch WWE Evolve. But nonetheless, guys, you could watch WWE Evolve on Tubi. Tubi is a free program. I believe it's Wednesdays at the exact same time that AEW is happening. So there you go. If you want to watch WWE Evolve, you have that option. It's going to be super independent. It's going to be an independent wrestling showcase, if you will, for the WWE ID program, essentially. Should be interesting. Should be cool. Queen of the Ring has officially hit theaters. This film looks fantastic. I'm excited to see Queen of the Ring. It's been fantastic to see the medium between pro wrestling and film recently. I mean, Shudder, which is a horror exclusive streaming site, has a Dark Match, I believe is what it's called, which is a weird, almost independent-esque film that loosely has to do with wrestling. It's more of a horror film. And then at the end of 2023, we did get the Iron Claw, which was the story about the Von Erichs, which was this. It was scarring film, but it was excellent film at that. It's so great to see these pro wrestling movies coming out and getting such critical acclaim at scale. I hope this continues because pro wrestling definitely has some interesting short stories that you could showcase through film. So go ahead and check out Queen of the Ring. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm excited to check it out when I get the time. Last but not least, guys, last bit of news here. We've had quite a bit. It's been a crazy episode. Kind of running through it fast for you because I don't want to keep you here for an hour or anything. So let's go ahead and keep this going. We have WWE desperately, disgustingly, just sadly counter programming AEW Double or Nothing with NXT Battleground. It's pathetic, man. AEW has not been releasing their days and times for their upcoming pay-per-views this year because they know WWE is going to counter-program them with an NXT Premium Live event. And honestly, it's pathetic. And it puts stress on us fans that do enjoy both WWE and AEW, because now we have to pick and choose. I don't want to pick and choose. I think NXT's been fantastic. Has AEW been struggling a bit? Sure. Do I want to stick around and see if they're able to figure it out? Absolutely. But now I either have to put both shows on at the same time, which is really annoying because if I'm paying for a pay-per-view, which I will be when I watch AEW Double or Nothing, I want that pay-per-view that I just spent my money on to have my undivided attention. I don't want to feel like I have to pick or choose between NXT Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing. And I see a lot of WWE fans saying, oh, well, I'm just going to watch NXT Battleground because I don't have to pay for it. I already have Peacock. Good for you, man. But for us that enjoy both, it's frustrating. It's super frustrating, and it's pathetic. There's really no use for it. Like, it's not like the people that are saying, oh, I guess I'm watching NXT that night. are really going to buy an AEW pay-per-view anyway. So what are you doing this for? I understand it's a business, and I need to remember that it's a business, and unfortunately, business ethics are a thing of the past. I don't even know if they ever existed, to be honest with you. Anywho, I just get frustrated as a fan because I've been enjoying NXT and what they've been putting out from their weekly show to their premium live events. And when you look at AEW, I still get a kick out of AEW because they have fantastic wrestling matches. Are they in some trouble? Have they been a bit stagnant? Have they been a bit mediocre as of recent? Yeah, definitely. But I definitely want to stick around and see if they're going to figure it out or not. They definitely provide value to me as a wrestling fan and to many others, many who probably watch this show. So to make us fans, for petty reasons, pick and choose between NXT and AEW is just wrong. Just annoying. Just pathetic. You don't need to do that. Like, WWE, you are firing on all cylinders. Absolutely burying AEW right now. Why you got to go and counter program it? It just looks scummy. It's weird. I don't want to stick around and linger on this topic too much because it bothers me, man. As a fan, it bothers me. We got WWE 2K25 coming out very soon. I was going to pick up the game. I was super excited to pick up the game. I have a couple friends that want to play that are already playing because they pre-ordered it or what have you. Comes out on March 14th for those of us who didn't pre-order it or pay $100+ for the game, for the base game that comes out every year. Sorry, I'm not big on paying for games every single year, like the Maddens, like the 2Ks, in this case, WWE. Anywho, I was going to get this game. Because I was excited for my GM online mode. I've been waiting for WWE to have an immersive online mode in their games for years. And finally, WWE 2K25 is going to have an online GM mode for the first time ever. And I was super excited to get into it with my friends, right? We all get a show, we all get a brand. One of us gets Raw, the other gets SmackDown. Perhaps somebody gets WCW, perhaps somebody gets ECW. I was excited to fully immerse into what could be an awesome online mode in WWE 2K25's My GM mode online. And then I found out that the online mode features simulation only, meaning you could set up the matches, you could do what you do in My GM mode, but you cannot play the actual matches. And that's super frustrating, man. I'm not going to get too upset about this one because I'm sure they would like to figure it out. I'm sure they're actively working at figuring it out. And I'm sure that you will be able to play matches in My GM mode online next year in WWE 2K26. It's just like, what good is all this stuff if you can't enjoy the matches, if you can't play the matches, if you can't spectate the matches? Everything is a simulation. That's a shame to me, man. That's the best part about playing is you spend your time in My GM mode. You're setting up the rivalries, you're setting up the shows, you're balancing things out, you're playing a game of chess with it. It feels like you're running a show. It's super fun. It's super awesome. And then you go into the match and you enjoy what you've built, what you've created. If they don't have that feature where you can't enjoy your match by playing it or spectating it, then I don't see the purpose, unfortunately. And like I said, man, I was super excited that there was an online component coming to My GM mode in WWE 2K25. But I guess I'm going to have to wait till next year to spend my money on it because I'm not going to play My GM mode online and just simulate everything. That's not how I roll personally. It's a shame. It's a real shame. I'm bummed out because I wanted to play that mode with my friends. I'm sure the game will be fine for those of you that buy the game every year. I bought 2K24 last year. I put a ton of hours into it, especially into My GM, and I'm good. I do not need to buy 2K25. I got my fill, and unless the game is absolutely bananas, I'm probably not going to pick it up because the one game mode that I was excited about, I was excited to play my friends in My GM online. That is losing a key component of the game, which is the actual gameplay, which is the actual bell-to-bell action. So yeah, I'm super bummed about that, but I'm sure the game will be fine for those of you that are picking it up. I just had to bring that up, man. Nonetheless, man, we're coming up on 20 minutes, so let's get you out of here. We got 3 shows on the watch list this week. ending this week's Wrestling is Bullshit report with the watch list. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw, man. We got Seth Rollins facing CM Punk in a steel cage match. Not even 24 hours after Will Ospreay just faced Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match at AEW Revolution, we have Monday Night Raw where Rollins and Punk will duke it out in the steel cage in Madison Square Garden at that. Must watch stuff. Must watch stuff for sure, especially on the road to WrestleMania. Come on now. Tuesday, NXT Roadblock. We got quite a few matches here, man. NXT Roadblock is a super card, nothing short of it, in my humble opinion, as Ethan Page faces Javon Evans in a New York street fight. Oba Femi defends the NXT Championship against Moose. The Hardys defend the TNA World Tag Team Championship against Fraxium. And last but not least, the main event. Stephanie Vaquer and Julia will unify the NXT Women's and Women's North American Championships. Title for title. Stephanie Vaquer, Julia. Whoo! Should be some good stuff, man. That's good fun. NXT's been fantastic. Super excited for that. Last but not least, the last show on this week's watch list is TNA Sacrifice. We got a couple of crazy matches here, especially this one, man. Moose defends the X Division Championship against Jeff Hardy in a ladder match. Sign me up. Take my card. Sign me up. Sami Callihan faces Mance Warner in a street fight. Got quite a few street fights in here, man. And then last but not least, we have Masha Slamovich defending the TNA Women's World Championship against Cora Jade of NXT. Yeah, man, TNA Sacrifice is a must-watch in my opinion. I will totally be tuning in for that. We are carrying these good vibes, this momentum from Elimination Chamber, from AEW Revolution. We're carrying them into this week, and we got TNA Sacrifice. We got NXT Roadblock. We got Madison Square Garden. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in a steel cage match. Come on now. This is a great time to be a fan, guys. This is crazy. A lot of stuff, man. We talked about a lot this week, and I kept it under 30 minutes for you. I did that for you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wrestling is Bullshit report. I hope it provided great value for you as a fan. I hope it opened your eyes up to some of the things that are happening behind the scenes. And I hope it provided you with something to look forward to this week, whether it's Monday Night Raw, whether it's NXT Roadblock, whether it's TNA Sacrifice. Plenty of stuff to look forward to. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Be happy. Try your best. Let it go. Don't overthink it. All the things that your grandma tells you. All right. Peace out, fellas.